Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well. So we are continuing with the series of public administration where we will be covering those sketchy areas where aspirants have less clarity. But yes, like said before, UPSC has been asking questions in those areas. So it's better to cover all these areas so that you can maximize your marks in the examination and attempt all the questions in the sense those easier questions as well, and don't fall for the trap set by the UPSC. Okay, so in the last session we had discussed Peter Drucker. So Peter Drucker was discussed very holistically, and hopefully it will be enough for you to answer any question which comes on Peter Drucker in public administration. So today we are going to discuss Karl Marx. Karl Marx. Okay. See Karl Marx. Karl Marx in the past public administration paper also it had come once. Once in the past paper, it was of 10 marks, and the question was in the compulsory question. That is, you had to attempt. It was in the question one, the most I guess 1D it was. So yeah, where you will escape now? You have to attempt this, and to attempt this, you should know what was his views. So if you don't know Karl Marx, then 10 marks is gone, and then you will be attempting 240 marks only in the UPSC. So there, it's 5-6 marks or 7 marks according to whatever the UPSC adopts the marking pattern. That will be a loss in your total. Okay, so to maximize your marks, cover all these areas as well. Okay. So today we'll discuss Karl Marx. So Karl Marx. Okay. So we will structure the entire lecture in such a way that firstly we'll discuss about his brief background. His life and works. That is life and works. Then he will discuss about his views on bureaucracy. This is what he talks about bureaucracy. Okay, so first he talks about origin of bureaucracy, from where this instrument of bureaucracy came on. Is origin of bureaucracy. Firstly, second, he attacks the bureaucracy. That is criticizing bureaucracy. So attack is in the two terms. First is functioning and the inherent characteristics which are attacked. Okay, and thirdly, he gives the theory of alienation. Then fourthly, we will discuss some differences. We will discuss in brief the differences between Karl Marx and Weber on their views on bureaucracy. Okay, so differences we'll discuss. And lastly, I will give you one question. You send it to me. I will evaluate and send you back. Okay. The question, your answer should be in PDF format. Okay, don't send it on an image format. Send on my number or Telegram, whichever suits you. Okay, so this way we'll structure the entire session. So firstly we'll brief background, then his views on bureaucracy, that he talks about how the instrument of bureaucracy originated. Next, he attacks the bureaucracy in terms of structure, in terms of functioning and the characteristics of bureaucracy. Thirdly, he gives his theory of alienation. Then we'll talk about the differences between Karl Marx and Weber on bureaucracy. And lastly, I'll give you one question. Okay. So let's begin. See Karl Marx, the brief background of his. Marx. Okay. See, Karl Marx, very important social thinker, sociologist. Everyone knows important sociologist, and important. No field of social sciences is complete without the discussion of Karl Marx. Okay. He is the founder of modern communism. Founder of modern communism. His views also led to the establishment of many regimes based on his views, that is Marxist philosophies. Marxist philosophy, many states were established, be it USSR or you take Cuba also. All these regimes were established based on his philosophies. Okay, and he is and no discussion of politics, administration, and politics administration in the state is complete without discussion, without the views of Karl Marx. Okay, there lies its importance. So a brief background of his. So he was born in Prussia, that is in Germany, and he was a revolutionary student since the beginning. So later he moved to Paris, and Paris was considered as a hub of revolutionaries. He moved there, hub of revolutionaries, and he was thrown out of Paris also because his views led to what? Led to an armed rebellion in Paris. Revolutionary also incited rebellion also. So he was thrown out of Paris. Then he went to London, and he stayed there till his death. Okay, this is briefly what he has done. And now his important works. So let's talk about his important works. Important works of Karl Marx. First is the Holy Family. Holy Family. Then the poverty of philosophy. The poverty of philosophy. Thirdly, the Communist Manifesto. Yes, very famous Communist Manifesto. And then one of his important work was the contribution to the critique of political economy. See, these are all his important works. He published many works. These are some of the important works. Remember these only. No need to remember everything. The Holy Family, the poverty of philosophy. Yes, it is the poverty of philosophy and not philosophy of poverty. The poverty of philosophy. The Communist Manifesto, very very well-known work of his, and the contribution to the critique of political economy. Okay, so this was his brief background and his works. Okay, so let's start with his views on bureaucracy. First, origin of bureaucracy. Where he traces the origin of the bureaucracy. Origin of bureaucracy. Okay, so there are he links the four developments which leads to origin of bureaucracy in those particular phases. First is religion. I'll explain each in detail, so less for jot down. Second is the state. It's state, okay, one only. State, trade and commerce. And fourth, technology. Okay, so these are the four areas which led to the development of origin of bureaucracy: the state, the religion, state, and technology. First, let's talk about religion. See, religion. So what he says that to every religious institution, there was a religious institutions. Okay, every region has some religious institution, so they needed people to perform rituals. Rituals. Every religion has some rituals. Hinduism, everything has some rituals, and these rituals were performed by a special class, a class which he considered as bureaucracy. Okay, this ritual also to protect the religious institution. Also, you need to someone to protect religious institution, the religious properties. So this class was responsible for this, and this class, what he termed as bureaucracy. So this is one aspect of origin of bureaucracy. Next, he talks about the state. So now, so religion is clear. How religion, etc., led to the birth of bureaucracy. Religion has rituals, and rituals are performed by one class. This class he called as bureaucracy. And religion also has their own property, religious institution, properties of religion. You also need to maintain law and order within the religious institutions. Some people are deployed. So these people are nothing but bureaucrats. Okay, now state. Now let's come to state. See, when the primitive society led to the after the primitive society, state developed. We know that contract, Hobbes, etc. See, then state developed. Then state, according to him, is an exploitative instrument, exploitation of people, and the state will use bureaucracy as a tool to exploit people. Okay, so also the state needed people to manage the conflict between the people also. The state needed people to manage its conflict. Conflict happens in police administration. What police administration does? It manages the conflict of the people. Police manages the conflict of the people. That is state's role. So state needed all these people also to protect the wealth of the capitalist. The state is needed to protect the wealth of the capitalists. So this state, this everything was needed by the state. So who will do all this? So this bureaucracy will do it. Okay, bureaucracy will do all this. So it acts as an instrument to perpetuate the state's exploitation on the people. So basically, Karl Marx views state as an instrument of a particular class. A class will continuously rule and become a state, and that class will use bureaucracy as an instrument to perpetuate its goals, that is exploitation of the people, and to maintain status quo and to continue their privileges. Okay, so this privileges are maintained, etc. So this is what is led to the birth of bureaucracy in the modern world origin. Okay, so state is clear. So this is about how state and bureaucracy are interlinked and how the state led to the origin of bureaucracy. Okay, these two we have discussed, religion and state. Now let's go to trade and commerce. So another aspect of development, another reason for the growth of the instrument of bureaucracy is trade and commerce. So now how trade and commerce, see, whenever trade happens at a big level, at a massive level, you need some managers, okay, to manage everything, to keep accounts, to collect revenue. You need people for all this. Trade and commerce, capitalism, then you need manage accounts, collect revenue, manage the wealth, etc. So who will manage? Bureaucracy will manage. So this also led to the origin of bureaucracy. Now see, connect with Indian administration also. East India Company. What? East India Company came as traders. Trade. they also had bureaucrats. Before the Charter Act, they had bureaucrats who were employed, and the bureaucrats were highly corrupt under East India Company. And after the Charter Act of, I guess, 1813, please check, I am not sure, 1813 or which, the Queen took over. So they become the bureaucrats working here became they work under the Queen. So that is the state. This is what it is. So this bureaucracy trade also gives. And yes, we know. Then after East India Company, then British Raj came in India, and the bureaucracy, the British bureaucracy was an instrument of exploitation of the Indian people. The Indian people, but I'll draw again, British bureaucracy. See, then became the instrument of exploitation of Indian people. And they, from whom they are working? The state, that is the British government. See, instrument of exploitation. So it works as the instrument of exploitation, the British government, that is maximum revenue collector. And also it was said that it is the British bureaucracy on the back of which the elephantine size of British administration rest, or the district collector, it is so the elephantine size of British administration rest on this back of this district collector. That is the bureaucracy. See, be it in the Mughal India also. Mughal India, what it was, bureaucracy was mansabdari, that was called. So it was basically an instrument for exploitation. Yes, many thinkers talk about how in the Mughal India, the bureaucracy was only for revenue collection, and little welfare activities was not done. Only revenue was collected, taxes was committed by the mansabdars, and people were left to fend for themselves. This is how trade and commerce, etc., led to the birth of bureaucracy. Okay. So third or fourth aspect he talks about, Karl Marx talks about that that technology also lead to bureaucracy. Now, how technology lead to bureaucracy, birth of bureaucracy? See, whenever technology means what initially in the first industrial revolution, it meant machine, use of machine. People were replaced were machines. So you needed people. You needed people to operate this machine or design this machine, or you need also some assistant to make these machines work. So designers, example, who design the machines with their intellectual ability and innovation are who? They are nothing but technocracy. Technocracy is another form of bureaucracy. Technocracy. This also led birth of this technocracy. Okay, this is also another reason for the origin of bureaucracy. That technocrats are also working for government, then it becomes a bureaucracy only. So technocracy they are. So see, you can relate with today's world, today also. See, fourth industrial revolution is coming, has come also. Artificial intelligence. So who has the skills? Technocrats has the skills. Technocrats people will have the skill, AI, etc., Industry 4.0, Internet of Things, etc. Now, Government of India want to implement all this. Then they will hire them. They become part of the government. Technocracy. How will they hire? Lateral entry. Yes, very hot topic. Lateral entry they will hire. Then this again also will birth to generalist versus specialist debate. So this is technology, technocracy, and this will also act as an instrument of exploitation of the state, because see, technologists, technocracy are what? They are capitalists. So they will implement capitalism and exploitation of the people. Benefit should be more than cost. No welfare activities, no need profit and loss. This is how states as an instrument of exploitation, even technocracy. Okay, so technological development and etc. will happen. Okay, so this is how Karl Marx talks about the origins of the bureaucracy. We have discussed it's religion, first religion, then state, trade and commerce, and technology. Okay, yes, so okay, then we'll move further. So next he talks about what? Next he criticizes bureaucracy. That is, he starts attacking the bureaucracy. First, we'll understand briefly the relationship between the state and the bureaucracy. Okay, so state, we all know state state acts is dominated by a particular class. A class will continuously rule the state. Then the state will use bureaucracy as an instrument for to achieving its goals. And what are the goals of the state? According to Karl Marx, they want to exploit the people, that is the workers. Another goal is maintain status quo, that is it continues to maintain their privileges are maintained. So privileges are maintained, that is what is the state, and state will use bureaucracy as an instrument for this. And the relationship between the state and the bureaucracy is of how is the relationship? He says bureaucracy is a closed system of the state. Closed system of the state. You understand closed system, right? Of the state. Closed system, open system, modern organization theory. Okay, see, this is state, this is bureaucracy. Okay, and this is state. It is a closed system, and these are the people. The state, instrument, and this. So closed system is doesn't in open system there is two-way interaction, but this is a closed system, so no two-way interaction. So bureaucracy will control these people, exploit these people to maintain the privileges of the ruling class. And also bureaucracy also benefits from this. We'll discuss later. Okay, so this is what is the relationship between the state and the bureaucracy. Okay, and he also further says the state is temporary and which will eventually wither away by the proletariat revolution. Proletariat revolution, that is workers' revolution. Okay, and it will eventually, as people will smash the state, and state will wither away. We'll discuss later in detail. So this is basically how he views the state and bureaucracy. Okay, it's a closed system. Closed system is important. Okay, closed system. So now, so relationship is discussed between. Now he starts attacking the bureaucracy. First, he says he attacks the three ways the functioning of the bureaucracy is about this function. Say first he calls bureaucracy as parasites. Okay, and then he says it's mysterious nature. Mysterious nature, or okay, secrecy. It works in secrecy. There are parasites, and bureaucracy works for its private ends. Private ends. Okay, see, this is how he attacks. I will discuss each in detail. Don't worry. There are parasites. Bureaucracy is parasites. They work. This mysterious. These are mysterious in nature. Works in secrecy and works for private ends. Okay. Now he says the role of bureaucracy is nothing but of a parasite. It's a parasitic. Parasites. So you know now what are parasites are. Parasites will feed on someone. So what he says, bureaucracy feeds on the people. peoples in the state, feeds on the people, exploits them, uses as an instrument, exploits and suppresses them, suppresses their creativity. It's act of domination, domination over the people. So as a parasite, it keeps sucking the people. And sucking the people for whom? For the state. So that the status quo is maintained. That is, the ruling class is able to rule. Ruling class rules only. Okay, status quo is maintained and the ruling class keeps ruling and the privileges are maintained. So this is the parasites. He talks about bureaucracy as a parasite. Okay, in its functioning. See, in functioning also you see any bureaucracy works as an instrument of the state only. Be it the committed bureaucracy during the emergency era. So many liberties were in India committed bureaucracy during the emergency era. They worked as a parasite. So liberties of the people were killed. And it is famously said that during the bureaucracy you were asked to bend. Bureaucrats were asked to, but they started to crawl. Parasites. So in today also, the functioning of ED, CBI, you can see ED, CBI is all parasitic rules. Even the Supreme Court recently said, don't act like a caged parrot. Caged parrot. Recently, in the Arvind Kejriwal case, where he was granted bail, there they said, don't act like a caged parrot. Parasites. So should have called parasites only. Maybe Karl Marx would have been happy in heavens. Okay, so this is what it is, parasitic role. Okay, so here these parasites, why they were called parasites, because they keep sucking the host. Host are the people. Exploitation of the people. So Karl Marx called them as parasites. Okay, now a second. He talks about, where is this now? Second, he talks about bureaucracy works for private ends. Works for private ends. That is, private ends means what? Their own benefit. They work for their own benefit. Now, how they work for a benefit? See, state, bureaucracy, people. Okay, state, that is the capitalist people, etc., the ruling class will use the bureaucracy for exploitation of people. Exploitation of people, keep suppressing them, maximizing profit, increase productivity. So this way the state will benefit and state will share some of its profits with the bureaucracy. So bureaucracy works for this also as a private ends, to increase the profit as shares. And also how it benefits them. See, bureaucracy again, bureaucracy is career oriented and hierarchical. This is the hierarchy they have to climb, career oriented and hierarchical. So bureaucracy which are efficiently working for the state, in this way they will get promotions, they will become the favorites of the state, they will hold the top positions of the state, under the state. So yes, committed bureaucracy during emergency area. Even today also, government of India, some bureaucrats have been in this position for very long. So they are benefiting that. Like see the cabinet secretary or principal secretary, for many years they are in that position. Since 2014 some are there. But the tenure is 2 years only. They are 10 years. So this is how the bureaucracy also benefits. They work for private ends. That is, you make the state happy, the state will make you happy by promotion, etc. If you don't make the state happy, you will be thrown out from the organization. ARC2, one can recall, talks about honest officers are punished with punishment posting and frequent transfers. and corrupt officers are rewarded with prime posting. So this is how the state works for the private entities. Okay, and third he talks about the mysterious nature of bureaucracy. So see, bureaucracy, yes, we know it's known for secrecy. So it is an information hoarder. It works in a mysterious way. It doesn't interact with the people. No interaction with the people. See, Karl Marx also first talks about it's a closed system. Closed system, no interaction with the people. So they work in secrecy. So they, according to Karl Marx, if secrecy is not there, people's conscience will be risen. People's conscience will rise. People's conscience will rise. Okay. When people's conscience rise, what will happen? First, they will get information, this all wrong is happening. Then people's conscience will rise. And what will happen? They keeps attacking the state's bureaucracy, that is the state. Because there is a closed system between state and bureaucracy. So they will attack the state. Attack the state, then what happened? The status quo is not maintained and privileges won't be maintained. So the ruling class will fall. So that's why keep everything secret, don't give anything. Okay. Be it Manipur also. In India, Manipur incident happened. How it came out? When that video, that dreaded video came out, then everyone came to know how situation is bad in the state of Manipur. Previously, everything was kept secret, very sadly in our country. What to say? So, mysterious nature with bureaucracy. See, before RTI also, this was very mysterious nature. No one knew what happened in the bureaucracy. It released information before RTI on its own. Whatever they want to give, they'll give. But RTI came, then secrecy vanished to a certain extent. But there are also many provisions which are misused in RTI, that your information you asked is too voluminous, cannot be given. Dump every information, find the relevant information. So this way, how this tries to maintain secrecy even today. Also, many amendments are brought into RTI which promotes this secrecy, such as the DPDP Act of 2023 subverts RTI. Okay, so this way it tries to keep secrecy. See, paper 2 RTI, paper 1 it comes usually. So paper 1 you connect all this. Okay, so it will become paper 1 oriented answer, not GS2 or public administration paper 2 answer. Okay. Sorry, paper 2 also you need to connect thinkers, otherwise it will be just GS2 answers. Or you will end up writing GS4 ethics answers. But it is public administration, not, it is optional, not GS. Okay, so this is how it he talks about the mysterious nature of the working of the bill. See, these were the criticisms according to him based on the working, okay, functionality of bureaucracy, that is mysterious nature. Then the what is private ends, bureaucracy works for private ends and bureaucrats are parasites. Are really bureaucrats parasites even in today? Yes, I think to a certain extent many people consider bureaucrats in India as a nightmare, total nightmare dealing with bureaucrats. You also go to any bureaucratic institution, you will also come to know what bureaucracy is without any social connect. Go like a normal citizen, especially a poor person. See, you'll come to know what bureaucracy is. Okay, see this how he criticizes the functioning of bureaucracy. Okay, so then he attacks the characteristics of bureaucracy. Okay, so characteristics. Now, what are the characteristics he attacks? First, he attacks the recruitment. Second, recruitment, then division of labor. Then he attacks the hierarchy. Lastly, he attacks the rules. See, these are the prominent features of bureaucracy, Weber. This is what bureaucracy is based on. So he attacks each and every edge of this. Okay. Characteristics, yes, Weberian characteristics, division of labor, hierarchy, rules, recruitment based on merit and technical competence, merit-based recruitment. So how he attacks, let's take one by one. First, the recruitment. Now, how recruitment happens in the Weberian bureaucracy? Based on merit. Competitive exam, like how you guys are giving civil service examination, you perform well in the exam, intellectual exam, you will be a bureaucrat. Okay, intellectual is testing your intellectual. He attacks this examination is useless. He says, firstly, he says this. See, the work of a bureaucracy is of a statesman. Okay. Statesman. You understand statesman? Statesman, that is a person who have to deal with variety of people, have to have good people connect, people's dealing with people, solving people's problem. That is what bureaucracy does, and it's a work of a statesman. Can bureaucrat then people can, only whose intelligence is tested from this examination can be a statesman? No, he says no, not at all, and it's true also to a certain extent. Highly intellectual people, how they deal with people? If there was a bureaucracy, is Indian bureaucracy based on merit, UPSC selects. So if there are so much intellectual and everything is good, then why bureaucracy in India is rated as a bureaucratic nightmare? So much corruption happens. See, this all he talks about. This is it's not this statesmanship is not possible by using this intellectual exam. Okay. So he criticizes the recruitment. Next, he further says, see, to clear this examination, you need to be properly educated, access to quality of education. So he says the workers don't have access to this. Workers don't have access to this quality education to clear this examination, to clear civil services. So it again promotes class domination only. Class domination. One class who has access to education, quality education, they only will clear this examination. It promotes class domination. But see, even if you clear this examination, not necessarily you become a good administrator, because you need statesmanship. So he says also education is not accessible to everyone. Does the poor in a country, especially below poverty line, or be any people who are not well off, not in the middle class? Do you think they have, not even middle class people don't have access to quality education? So how they will clear this examination? Yes, in India there is reservation to to promote social justice in civil services. But see, okay, but see, the class domination is happening here also. See, UPSC reports itself says that engineers are the highest percentage of people who are clearing this examination. So engineers, you already have access to quality education, so you are clearing. The poor people, poor of social science background, they are less in number, so they are not able to clear this examination. It's a class domination in Indian civil services also, that the UPSC, CSC. So it's a class domination of engineers who are clearing this examination. So there is a class domination. Also, high quality examination, the high quality education, IITs, IIMs, highest selection rate, right? Like their chances of selection are the highest. Okay, and further he says, these people who are educated, etc., will eventually promote capitalism. Okay, and which is not a statesmanship. And capitalism is what? Exploitative tool by the people who have resources of the poor people. These people eventually promote this only, exploitation of the people. See, IIMs, etc. Also, people clear this exam and the success rate is high. In IIMs, what is taught? Business is taught, right? Marketing, finance, etc. How to grow business, how should be benefits should be more than cost. Capitalism, they will come to government of India, they will use the apply this philosophy, cost cutting, etc. Government maximum governance, then exploitation of the poor. So this is how this happens even today. See, they don't have statesmanship, the educated people. See the recent case of IS Maharashtra. Entire country knows that she was also a doctor, highly educated, cleared exam, cleared or not did clear through unfair means. Then what? What she was doing? She was also not a statesman at all. Then so, and imagine if she would have, all this wouldn't have came out, then what kind of exploitation would have happened of the people in our hands. Okay. So this is how he talks about how recruitment is totally flawed, is not proper in bureaucracy, wherein bureaucracy promotes merit and technical competence. It's totally not worth, because its statesmanship is required for success of bureaucracy, which this merit-based recruitment cannot bring it. Okay. So next, next characteristics he attacks is division of labor. So division of labor. Okay. So what is division of labor? See, division of labor, you all know Taylor. You have remember Taylor, scientific management, functional foremanship. What is that? Division of labor. Divide the labor according to the intellectual skills and the mechanistic skills. Productivity. Functional foremanship is also the classical principles also talks about what? It talks about division also, Gullik and Urvik. So Fayol also implicitly talks about this division of labor, unity of command, unity of direction, specialization, etc. Okay. So division of labor. So what division? Technical people, intellectual people. In the factory, there are intellectual people and there are workers. And what is what this division of labor does? This intellectual people will control and supervise, very strict control will be there on the workers. And the workers here also will be exploited. Control, supervision, they won't have any creativity, no innovation, there will be continuous supervision. Like see, Taylor also, under Taylorism, continuous supervision was there. And this is what he talks about, what it does. Okay. Division of labor, same thing happens in bureaucracy, division of labor in India also. See, all India services, then there is state services, then how they further division, group A, group B, group C and group D. Okay, so this is division of labor, and all the hard work is done by whom? This group C and D, the street level bureaucrats. So group C, group A, B and D, this is the division of labor in Indian bureaucracy. All hard work is done by this street level bureaucracy, execution of policies at ground level. And who? And this is under the close supervision of group A. They are exploited. This is all their pay is high for these people who are doing intellectual activities, not for these people who are actually creating whatever law and order maintain, etc. Who is the constabulary is the main instrument. Without the constabulary, they cannot maintain law and order. They are the people on the ground, and IPS, etc. are in their offices planning and directing. Okay, and he says this leads to exploitation. He gives the analogy in terms of capitalism, manager and workers. This is for your understanding. I am giving all this. Okay. So this is how division of labor promotes exploitation of the worker, and he criticizes it. Okay. So next he criticizes hierarchy. Hope you know hierarchy. Hierarchy, that boss, supervisor, subordinate, that hierarchy, tall hierarchy, triangular hierarchy. Is top level people are few, bottom level people are more. Fat organization, like Peter Drucker will say. hierarchy. So top level organization. So what is the benefit of hierarchy? It will maintain responsibility and accountability. But what he says, this hierarchy is a hierarchy of knowledge, and it is nothing, it does not provide accountability and responsibility, because see, you are trapped in this hierarchy, okay, as a bureaucrat. Suppose you are here, okay, and you see some malpractices, where you will report? You will report higher ups, or you will go and tell your lower people this is happening. But if all these are part of that collusive corruption, what you are going to do? If you go outside that hierarchy, you will be removed, and you will become a worker itself, not an instrument of the state anymore. Here also you will be exploited. Your hands and legs are tied here. And everyone is corrupt according to him, and everyone corrupt in the sense he says is an our main aim is for exploitation. So this hierarchy is also useless. It doesn't do anything, and also it diffuses responsibility, because the lower level people will blame the higher level people for anything wrong. The higher level people will blame the lower people for the law. So he also criticizes hierarchy, and he rejects this hierarchy also, and terms it another instrument, another one of the characteristics which acts as a instrument for exploitation by the state. Okay. So let's come next. Next, he criticizes these rules. That is, characteristic, he attacks the rules. See, we all know Weberian bureaucracy, legal rational authority is based on rules. You follow rules, and you will be the most efficient person, rule-based, legal rational, and most rational. And yes, the same criticism only. What is the rules becomes an end in itself, and rules become important than humans, he says. Rules becomes important than human beings. Okay, this is how he criticizes them. Now see, many examples are there where rules are important than humans. We all know that Aadhaar authentication fails, no PDS, no food grains, Aadhaar, no food grains. Also recently an news had come in Odisha, when some Sambhadra Yojana is there of the state government, where the beneficiary should share the OTP to get money from under this Yojana. The Odisha state government's Yojana is there. But what happened? Now that tribal people, for to get OTP, first you should have a mobile. So one tribal people is still India development has not reached every parts of the country. So tribal did not have a mobile. So what he had to do? He mortgaged his wife's jewelry to get this mobile, to get OTP and get the benefits under the scheme. See, one problem, create more problem. So how this is the rules become important than humans? There can be other way of authentication also, that other way you should exploit it, but rule says there should be OTP for giving benefits. Okay. So this way he criticizes the rules, the prominent characteristics of the Weberian bureaucracy. That is how he attacks the bureaucracy. Okay. So this is all is clear. See how it criticizes. First he criticizes the division of labor, recruitment, division of labor, recruitment. Then he criticizes the hierarchy, and the fourthly the rules. Okay, so this is how he rejects the characteristics, and these characteristics acts is a main instrument, are the main core aspects which acts as a tool for exploitation. Okay, so this way he attacks them. Now next we will discuss his theory of alienation. Okay. Theory of alienation. Theory of alienation. Now, see, before the Industrial Revolution or before these factory settings of manufacturing goods, you also observed in India also now it's present. See, blacksmith, etc., or the cobblers, or artisans, many artisans before the Industrial Revolution. What they used to do, they will set up their own shops, work according to their own time, manufacture goods, create some goods, and then the entire good they had manufactured wholly, okay. And they will also have interaction with the people also, their customers. So there is a sense of ownership also, and there is some interaction also with the people. But what he says now, this was previously. Now, when capitalism came, this all got vanished. Okay, factories were established. Capitalism, mass production happened under capitalism. Mass production under capitalism. So what happens? So those people who were doing their own shops, they become part of this mass production as workers. Okay. So they become workers, huge armies of workers were set up in factories. Huge armies of workers were working in the factories. Yes, go to any factory, you say a lot of workers working. Now this all result in the alienation of the people, alienation of the workers from whom? From the people also and from the products also. Okay, so see, workers, lot of workers, and workers will be supervised by some managers. The bureaucrats will supervise them. Micro supervision, what they are doing, what they are not doing. See, in scientific management also, how Taylor used stopwatch, etc., time and motion study to supervise workers. Each movement of the workers were supervised. So there is no level, no freedom at all for them. They are closely supervised. Okay, so this is clear how they got alienated from everything. From the products also they got alienated, from the people also. No interaction with anyone. They got alienated. Okay. Now this alienation results in what? Alienation results in loss of freedom. Alienation results in loss of creativity. Alienation results in loss of humanity. And alienation results in loss of morality. Okay, loss of freedom. See, yes, we discuss how they are, because of close supervision, etc., they have no freedom at all. They cannot do anything. They have to follow those rules which have been set up by the managers, that is bureaucrats. It is follow rules, close supervision results in loss of freedom. This is loss of freedom, okay. And what happens in loss of freedom? Loss of freedom is also lost, and this results in loss of creativity. See, creativity when there is freedom, okay. Now what happens? Because of specialization, there is specialization. See, specialization as there is division of labor. So division of labor, then the task is been divided. Task has been divided, okay, due to division of labor. So how task is divided? See, no one person will be manufacturing the entire product. Task is divided. Suppose a computer is to be manufactured. Suppose the hardware, okay. Someone will manufacture the keyboard, someone will manufacture the LCD screen, someone will install the software. So see, this task is divided and results in what? There is no ownership at all. Do you have any ownership that I have created this product wholly? You haven't. You have just created some parts of it. So there is no sense of ownership and no satisfaction will come. You will not satisfied. See, consumer will buy this product and say a very good product. Will the credit go to this worker who the bunch of workers who have created this? No, it will go to the company. The capitalist people will take the credit for it. See, I will give some example correlation with the government schemes also. Suppose government scheme. Okay, so okay, we will discuss UPI. UPI, Universal Payment Interface, Unified Payment Interface, is very successful. Now, who all created this? Many people must have created small many subordinate level, subordinate bureaucrats to have contributed, technocrats, some small Indian engineering service people. Also, everyone must have contributed for this creation. But when civil services award happened, the secretary of that ministry was given the award. What about their contribution? And success of UPI is taken by who? Taken by Government of India. Isn't it? Government of India will take the success of this. Okay, and similarly, see, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan happens. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Okay, now Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, we are open defecation free now. So, who is taking credit for this? Government of India is taking. Swachh Bharat, Shrestha Bharat, Swachh Bharat Ka Sapna, etc. Then Government of India is taking. What about those sweepers, etc., or those village level workers, BDOs, etc., who went to the villages, went to each house to convince people to build toilet, bring out attitudinal change? Are they been credited? Their contribution is very substantial. Without, they are who worked for the people, but it is taken by the Government of India, or any particular district collector is taken for credit for that particular district. What about these people? These are the people who should be credited with. So they are not even getting a sense of satisfaction in their success. So less satisfaction, less freedom, less creativity. Also, what happens is that this also leads to capitalist economy, leads to higher productivity due to mechanization, etc. Now see, UPI happened. Now productivity increase in financial transaction. Now productivity, okay, some people, but some will be at loss also. Some workers will become unemployed. Even in Swachh Bharat, suppose Swachh Bharat, all objectives are met, then some contract-based sweepers, cleaners who are there, they are of no use now. They will be removed from the organization. This will also create unemployment. Okay, so whatever workers are doing for the benefit of the capitalists or the state, it's they themselves are been removed. They are not even shared the benefits. Benefits are given to these bureaucrats. Okay, so this way it happens. Okay, so this results in loss of freedom, loss of creativity, and how it also leads to loss of humanity also. Yes, I was going to tell you, see, this happens, see, this how unemployment increases. Okay, now you remember Taylor also. Taylor implemented his techniques in one of the factories in Bethlehem, where there were 500 plus workers, and with using this close supervision, etc., stopwatch, he bound it down to 160. See this unemployment. So this becomes unemployment, and ultimately what happened? So it results in loss of creativity. Okay, loss of creativity. Okay, so how it further then results in loss of humanity also. How it results in loss of humanity? Okay, so it results in loss of humanity. See here now how these workers have been treated. Workers have been treated like close supervision, totally they have to no freedom, no creativity. So they are just nothing but a mere cogs in the giant machinery. giant machinery, they are nothing but a mere cogs, like what Taylor also says. That that is the criticism of Taylor also, just a mere cogs, and with no emotions, nothing, no interaction. As the bureaucracy is a closed system, there won't be a two-way interaction, only direction, etc. So workers will be converted into near animal with no emotions at all. They are converted into near animals. And this is also what humans you teaching as animals, as converting them into animals is what? It's a loss of morality. This is a loss of morality. Okay, human values are totally degraded here, and humans have been converted into animals with no freedom, nothing, close supervision. So it is a loss of morality also. Morality, okay, this is also a loss of morality. And he further says that this also affects the bureaucrats themselves, okay, not just the workers. They also they happen to be this only. They also don't have a social life. In Indian bureaucracy, hardly bureaucrats have social life. 24/7 they are working, supervising the people, police administration especially. No social life. Okay. So this is how they are also converted to near animals. Loss of morality, loss of creativity, and loss of freedom. This results. Now what happens? Now what further happens after this? This is what is really theory of evolution, theory of alienation. Okay. So see, he further says this will lead to what? Eventually withering away of the state. Withering away of the state. Now what? How it will wither away? Now see, this all is happening, exploitation is happening. Then he says there is a will be proletariat revolution. Proletariat revolution, that is workers' revolution. Workers' revolution will happen. And what he says, whom the workers will attack? People, that is workers. Okay. He says the people will attack the state. They will not attack the bureaucracy, because decimation of the state will ensure the dissemination of the bureaucracy. Higher the alienation, he says, the higher the amount of violence will be there. Okay, higher the alienation, higher the violence. The people will be attack the state, that he says the people will smash the state, smash the state. That is revolution will occur, he says. Now see, in various parts of the world also this happened. They smashed the state. The state. The higher the alienation, the more violence was required. See, in India also emergency. Then emergency happened, then what happened? And committed bureaucracy committed. And people smashed the state. How they smashed? The JP movement came into being. Then state Indira Gandhi ji lost elections. They smashed the state. So lost election, change in the government. It's a good thing that whatever changes happening in India are happened through democratic process. Or be it the 2013-14 Anna Hazare movement, India against corruption, alienation increased, perceived alienation. Then people smashed it, and the new government came into being. Okay, democratic means. So not necessarily it will be always a democratic. They can smashing the state can be violent also. He says the higher alienation, higher the violence required. See, Arab Spring smashed it, smashed the state. Many dictators were doctors fell down, like Gaddafi. Okay, Gaddafi, etc. that time. Now also recent, our neighbor Bangladesh. Alienation happened of people to bureaucracy. They didn't attack the bureaucracy, they attacked here, the state. And the coup happened, protest happened, coup happened, and she had to fled. and people here smash the state. Bureaucracy, and also a lot of violence also happen. Higher alienation, higher violence. This way, people smash the state. Okay, now what will happen to bureaucracy now? Now what will happen to bureaucracy? State is gone now. He says for the time being, bureaucracy will eventually go, but for the time being, the people will use this bureaucracy and based on wages to do certain functions, that the state will have some limited functions for the time being. So they will use bureaucracy, and he also sees there will be centralization also. Doesn't reject centralization. Okay, there will be centralization. So this is how he talks about revolution, proletariat revolution, that is the workers' revolution. Bureaucracy, okay. So there will be centralization, and what will be the eventually? Eventually the bureaucracy will be gone. What he says, since as discussed previously, it's the work of a statesman. What is bureaucrats are doing? The work of a statesman. So workers, that is the people, will elect workers, people will elect people among themselves to rule. That is that revolution is happened, but bureaucrats will be elected, not career based among themselves. And who will supervise them? People will supervise them. And how people will supervise them? They will be removed. Bureaucrats appointed by the people will be removed if found unsatisfactory. So understood what? So like how elections happen, the elections will happen for bureaucracy also. Bureaucracy will be elected by the people. Bureaucracy will be elected by the people, and they will work for the people, and people will supervise, and if found unsatisfactory, they will be removed. Like how politicians are removed, but they are removed 5 years. He doesn't talk any time frame, but whenever found unsatisfactory, they will be removed. So this way, bureaucracy will work for the people, and they will work for the public service, and not they will work for the people, work for the public service, and not for the particular class, and not to maintain status quo, and not to protect privileges. They won't work for all this. They will work for the people, for public service, because they will be accountable to the people, and people will remove them. So this is how eventually the entire bureaucracy will go. Entire bureaucracy, barbarian bureaucracy, will wither away. So wither away. So it is a death blow to bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, that is barbarian bureaucracy. How it's a death blow? Barbarian bureaucracy is based on career based. Where is career now? It's all upon your performance. You fail public service, you won't be there. Bureaucracy was based on merit and technical competence through examination. No examination, you will be elected. So no merit base also, it career based 60 years retirement, but not necessarily here. You will be removed anytime found unsatisfactory with respect to public service. Unsatisfactory, removed. Okay. So this is what it is, how bureaucracy will wither away. See, this is what is largely Karl Marx talks about, how the origin of bureaucracy, how he criticizes everything, bureaucracy, the structure and the functioning, and how eventually bureaucracy will wither away and they will be ruled by the proletariat, that is the workers. and how the under workers, how the system will function. Okay, so this is what it is. Now we'll discuss some brief differences between Karl Marx and Weber on bureaucracy. Briefly we'll discuss. Largely you have all the fodder, but still I'll discuss briefly. So let's take here Weber and Marx. This difference is with respect to bureaucracy. Okay, so Weber conceptualize bureaucracy. He conceptualize the entire bureaucracy. As he said, how bureaucracy should be based: legal national authority, merit, technical competence, neutrality, how career based, etc., based on values. He doesn't. He here only criticizes. Doesn't give any concept. Criticizes. Also, he considers bureaucracy as an instrument of the state for exploitation. He doesn't give any conceptualization, doesn't give any model. Okay, this is one difference. Second, he has a positive connotation. He has a negative connotation. Positive connotation, how he talks about merit, etc., that features will result in highest productivity, efficiency, highest form of efficiency, and in terms of speed, etc., it will be the highest efficient organization in the bureau. That is the ideal bureaucracy. He views as a positive connotation. Okay, and here he views as a negative connotation. That is a extra. Yes, discussed here already. Instrument of exploitation, or bureaucracy leads to loss of creativity, freedom, etc. Okay, so these are two differences. Then what? Yes, this is third. He talks about recruitment based on merit, technical competence. Here he criticizes that also, that it is a work of a statesman. Right, so they should be elected, those who among the workers only. Okay, merit and technical competence. So next, what is the difference? So difference next is merit, okay, statesman, etc. Yes, even Weber himself says that once bureaucracy is established, it becomes institutionalized. That is difficult to remove bureaucracy once it gets established. Cannot be removed. See, in India also reforms, they are shouting where every reforms. Bureaucracy still is the dominant aspects in the administration today, in the system of government. It has become institutionalized. It becomes very difficult to remove. And here Karl Marx said, yes, it will eventually smashed by the people and it will wither away. So it can wither away, that people's revolution, proletariat revolution will come and it will wither away. So yes, these were the broader differences. The rest you manage yourself, or from the fodder of Weber, etc. you have. And yes, there are certain similarities also. Similarities in what? Both similarities. Similarities with respect to origin. Weber also talks about all these aspects only, how origin of bureaucracy, religion, Protestant ethic, capitalism. This also similarly. Karl Marx also talks about that. Okay, so this is basically what is Karl Marx. Okay, so do study Karl Marx. It's better to be safe than sorry. It has come in the past, so may come again also. What you will do if it comes in that compulsory 10 marks? Even if we also discuss in the one of the video where the UPSC, how UPSC sets a trap A, B, and C. Here simple, and then this also simple, but those areas which are less covered. But then you can maximize marks in PubAd. Then people say in PubAd you get less marks. Option is this, blah blah blah. Every option is equal. It depends on your level of preparation. And every option, see, especially UPSC in the recent years, has more or less maintained all options at equal level. There is no, I think nowadays there is no advantage of any option. Yes, before it was, some options were getting excessive marks, excessive, and some options were getting excessively low marks. But now everything is at equal footing, that what we can infer from whatever the marks and performance of people and to what extent you have covered public administration. So cover holistically, then you will maximize marks only. See, last year paper also that discuss many papers, you go and check papers, this way the traps they are set. Okay. If you cover holistically, then you won't fall for any trap. You will maximize your marks. Okay, so as promised, one question for you to practice. So the bureaucratic structures. Do not okay, sorry, we put 15 marks. See, this is the question for you to practice. The bureaucratic structures. Bureaucratic structure do not automatically reflect the prevailing social power, but pervert and disfigure them. Critically discuss, 15 marks. Okay. So write this question, send it to me in the PDF format, and I will evaluate back. Please send in PDF format only. Last time many, in spite of telling, was sending in image format. Send please in PDF format, because the software I am using for evaluation does not support image. Okay, so send it on my number 8850452151. So do mention your name also, and send, you can WhatsApp or Telegram, whatever you wish. Okay. Okay, then hope this is helpful for you, and do study it holistically, right again. Okay, so we'll continue with this series with some more videos. Hope this is helpful for you. Okay, then happy learning and enjoy your life. Okay then. Okay, bye.